Welcome to the first public workshop for Vision Zero Apex, a traffic and transportation safety program for those in our community that ride, bike, or walk in Apex. Vision Zero started in Sweden and is now widely known throughout the United States, with many communities leading active programs. Dedicated in-house staff and resources to guide project development and community outreach are key elements of a successful program. Vision Zero is proposed as a different way to address traffic and transportation safety compared to the traditional approach. It looks at traffic deaths and severe injuries as preventable through a systematic, multidisciplinary approach involving public participation for improving the transportation system for the safety of all users. System-wide data and community involvement is critical to that effort. In the past 5 years, Apex has grown almost 40% from a population of 47,000 to 65,000. Surrounding communities that share our transportation system have also grown. Traffic has also increased along with our population. Using data collected from 65 traffic count stations across Apex, we observed an 81% traffic increase for the past 16 years. With recent delays in major road projects, concern about handling traffic growth has increased. Substantial population growth, traffic growth, and the delays in major roadway projects region-wide have all contributed to the need for a town-specific Vision Zero initiative. In Apex, the Vision Zero program started with interest from elected officials and town administration. Staff across multiple departments formed a team to start the process, first by reviewing what programs were already in place, and second by trying to understand what Vision Zero could mean in Apex. The town adopted a resolution of support for Vision Zero. The next step is to develop an action plan using strategies across the 5 E's: engineering, education, encouragement, enforcement, and evaluation to reach the vision of zero transportation-related deaths and serious injuries in Apex by 2035. Apex staff members formed a task force in April 2020. They drafted a resolution of support approved by Town Council in July of that year. Over the next year, the task force drafted a scope of work and schedule for the Vision Zero action plan, prepared a commitment statement and guiding principles, and conducted data gathering and analysis for a 5-year period town-wide. Potential steering committee members were approved by Council before the kickoff meeting was held in September of 2021. The second steering committee meeting was held in December to prepare for the public workshop this January. The task force includes 7 staff members representing transportation, planning, police, and administration. The steering committee includes 12 volunteers from across the community, county, and region. Guided by the steering committee along with public input, the task force will prepare the action plan. Development of the action plan has been divided into 9 tasks over the course of 12 months, including 2 steering committee meetings and 2 public workshops. Information for the first public workshop is online from January 19th through the end of February, with an in-person event on January 26th at the Apex Community Center from 3 to 6 p.m., which also includes an opportunity to complete a survey. Another workshop is planned for June, prior to the final document being presented in September. The purpose of the first public workshop is to gather information on what the community sees as current traffic safety issues, generally and specifically, and where efforts should be guided to improve safety for all users of the transportation system. This is where community input alongside traffic data will help shape the goals and strategies of the program to be developed in the next task. Now, let's take a look at the citation and crash data, which we will discuss over the next 9 slides to help make you familiar with general trends in Apex. You are looking at a review of the last 5 years of citation data in Apex. Traffic citations for what are considered non-hazardous events accounted for the smallest number of citations issued. Hazardous events represented the largest or roughly the same number of citations as the other traffic category of citations events issued each year. From 2015 to 2020, the 18 to 34 age groups represented 71% of all DWI arrests. We also see a significant number of arrests in the under 18 group as well. Also notable is the steep drop in arrests in the 35 to 44 age group as compared to both younger and older groups. Crash data over the past 5 years revealed over 6,700 reported collisions, 3% or 201 of those resulted in a severe injury or fatality. The general trend shows an increase in crashes over this 5-year period. The most recent year was the second lowest captured, but could have been influenced by a significant reduction in overall traffic volume due to the COVID-19 pandemic, keeping many drivers at home for both school and work in 2020. Almost 89% of fatalities and severe injuries were in vehicle-to-vehicle collisions versus other modes. Pedestrians and cyclists represented less than 1% of overall crashes in Apex, but make up over 11% of the severe injuries and fatalities. This shows a higher likelihood of severe injury or death as a pedestrian or cyclist in the event of a crash. By comparing low-income areas designated by census data to crash data, we see that low-income areas were not overrepresented in the number or severity of crashes based on land area. However, there are limitations in the data that can lead to further discussion on this issue. Equity is an important consideration in transportation planning, and public input can help guide that conversation. We also looked at where crashes happened in Apex. In the pie charts on the left, 78% of crashes happened on public roads. We also see that 93% of severe or fatal crashes happened on public roads, not parking areas or private roads. Based on this data, there is a higher likelihood of having a severe or fatal crash on a public road, where a traffic signal is or is not present, compared to other locations. We also looked at the likelihood of severe or fatal injuries across crash types. The top 3 crash events, representing half of all crashes, included rear end, angle, and left turn. These 3 events also represent roughly 52% of severe or fatal crashes. However, all other types of crashes account for only 6% of total crashes, but represent 34% of severe or fatal crashes. Half of all crashes happened between noon and 6 p.m., while 63% of severe or fatal crashes happened specifically during 3 peak times. Between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m., we see 3 peak times that account for 9 hours each day. One interesting data point was that both crash frequency and severity were statistically higher on Friday than any other day. In contrast, severe or fatal crashes were statistically lower on Wednesday than any other day. The town of Apex has these programs in place that will help us reach Vision Zero. The analysis of data with the input from the community will help us identify gaps and where our efforts should be focused. Planning and engineering programs already underway prior to Vision Zero Apex include crosswalk lighting prioritization, crosswalk studies and warning systems, safe routes to school improvements, school zone time of day beacons, traffic calming, and a traffic safety improvement program. The Apex Police Department also has a lot of traffic safety programs already underway, promoting safe transportation for drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. Data-driven methods for tracking and preventing crime have been instrumental in guiding their efforts to improve community safety by focusing on addressing types of behavior that lead to injury. Learn more and stay updated about the Vision Zero initiative by visiting our website at apexnc.org/Vision Zero. Thank you for your participation in the workshop. Now, we need your input. Please complete the survey and help us make Apex roadways safe for our community.